approaches and has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level.
What's happening? We're back after a small hiatus. Apologize for that. Was under the weather and then had some weather issues previous week with, power going out, things like that. Just worrying about that and interrupting the stream. But nevertheless, we are back. We are here. So as you're coming in here, say what's up. Hopefully see the same faces. Hopefully you all didn't leave me after a couple weeks off. Straight up crazy. Saw that Open Cup Jack McGlynn, hoping it would have the intro. It was identical, right? How good was that? He only scores bangers, which was hilarious. So that was probably as close as it gets to that goal, which was awesome. So I'm glad you appreciated that. Straight up crazy things coming in. Red or Dead, what's up? Let's go. You're back. Hey, Dunk. Let's go. Big Dunk. What do you think on the Ojeda situation? Do you think it's just been the knock or something more? I'm interested to see or hear from an Orlando fan. But thank you guys for coming in. We'll give a little bit for people to come in, and then we'll go through each game. Lineup predictions, a little bit of, I guess, strategy for the last couple of Masters situations, and all that. Oh, Paradella, Necaxa action. Good luck with that. Hopefully some Liga MX action for you. I had a Paradella's great time in life until I went all MLS. I was having some internet issues earlier, but now everything's loading, thankfully. But we'll load up some other things while we wait as some more people get in here. Capping your rare lineup. Nice. Hopefully he pays off with a full 100 there. At the end, after I go through all the lines, basically I'm going to take a look at my strategy for this weekend. For in-season, I have 2 D1s and 1 D2, and I'll just talk through my thinking, why I made these decisions, and it kind of helps me build my lineups because I am on that last step, and I mean, $800 would be great. And then getting into that really elite competition where, I mean, there might not be many entries. The competition looks unbelievable right now as far as the regular competition. That's game week 80, I think. It looks phenomenal as far as the MLS Masters. Podium 3K, 2K, 1K is great. But then, again, I'm looking at the rare, but limited competitions, same thing. But you look at that's 6,000 worth, and it's a total of 15K. So you have 9,000 for the rest of the prize pool. So that's going to pay out. Everybody's probably going to get money, I would think, based on that. How many spots? 29 in rare, 220 and a limited. So we do have couple more chances here to get in, but I don't see that going over. I don't know if there's 29 now. Let's say it's a crazy, since you can, it will be a little bit easier because of the locks being a different time for that last one. But let's say 50 get in. It's still an unbelievable competition, in my opinion. For the limited level, it's still a chance to get a great. I mean, if you hit that top prize, your return on investment is going to be insane. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. 42nd and an all-star. Let's go. Hopefully he smashes. Tarek, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. He doesn't fully trust Ojeda. Is clearly our best and most creative player. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm not crazy in thinking he does so much for the team, and I don't get it either. Yeah, that's kind of baffling, honestly. But yeah. Yeah, so is the competition even on here? I don't think. We'll see. I don't think it's on here yet, though, because I guess this is only, game week 78. We got to go further out. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah. Go for third streak. I don't think I can risk him. Yeah, I know. It's such a good matchup, too, which is a bummer. Because that's a smash spot where if he was starting, you would put him in that lineup and you wouldn't even think about it. If you knew that was going into it, which is terrible. But, yeah, I don't think you can risk it. Just since you're going for it, you don't want to have a DNP that just kills one of those lineups. Especially if you guarantee he's starting, he'd probably be in my top lineup. Our Glass, what's happening? Saw you just had an Austin update out there as well. You love to see it. All right, so let's jump into it. And since he is in here, let's start with some of these teams here. And let's jump into his game here. So FC Cincinnati playing Austin. Cincinnati's a 55% favorite. 1.6 XG to 0.9. It's probably going to be a defensive battle just based on how these teams have played. New York City FC just beat Cincinnati and their winning streak. But Cincy back at home. Should be interesting. We did get a little bit of information over the last couple days. Pat Noonan confirmed that Pavel Buka would be available. He passed concussion protocol. He's trained all week. I think he will start. In fact, maybe 60% is a little low on that. And then you have Kubo, who was on a minute restriction last weekend. 45 minutes in that one. He should be stretched out to 60, in my opinion, especially with Nuobodo day-to-day. He's making progress. Last 2 days have been promising, and hopefully he's back in the mix. That just doesn't seem like it would be a start, in my opinion. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess bigger surprises. I put Hagelin on at 60%. I think Flores has been better than him. I think Hagelin's pace has really been tough on that left side. Just kind of holding him back against guys that are pacey. Especially, depending who's in the lineup, you could have Bakari running at him on that side. It could be a little bit tricky. Or even Obrion, doesn't really matter. But he's going to struggle with their pace. So that'll be interesting there. Other than that, in theory, home match, we shouldn't see any rotation yet. But that rotation with the congested fixtures, I'll say it all night, we're going to have a lot of rotation at some point. And most likely it's going to be the midweek, but we'll see. Hopefully it's all the midweek because we have that rolling lock. And you guys, I know time zones will be brutal for some of you, but we'll at least know who's playing, which is obviously needed here. Galese, Freeman, Mihalovic, Zink, and Dreyer. Yeah, that's a great team. I love that. I am playing Mihalovic, and I'm not sure about Dreyer or not. The away matchup scares me a little bit. I've kind of gone back and forth. He'll make one of my lineups, one of the 3 for sure. I don't know. He's been playing really well, though, also. And Red Bull stack, it's just so hard to trust them. But with the injuries and stuff, it seems too good to be true. And the Red Bulls have let down in this situation before this year, and they have not looked that great. So there's been a lot of sketchiness there. But again, like Emil Forsberg, I have him. He's in theory in a great matchup. But can I trust him not to just get a 35 to 40 and just kill the lineup? I don't know. Hey, thanks for popping in, and whenever you watch this back, what's up again? I appreciate you stopping in and then watching it back. Always love hearing from people that watch it back afterwards. Deep Diamonds. Might have to rethink them now. Nah, don't rethink it. Go with your gut. Go with your gut. Yeah, and let's go to the Austin expert himself. Texas Fantasy _ on X/Twitter if you don't already follow him. So like I said, Bakari on that right side going against Hagelin could be a big mismatch there, but this offense has struggled. They did need a wild comeback to win in the U.S. Open Cup. We did get some information. Robert Taylor was the new one. I did see that piece of information as well. And Danny Pereira out. And Dessler back in full training next week. So that's a good sign to get him back and into the starting lineup. As far as the midweek, I see the same things that he saw. Svatok, he didn't play, so you would think he's pretty locked. Some of these other guys, played minutes, but it's like Biros played 30 minutes. He should be good. They've done like a little tweaks here and there throughout the season, but with some of these injuries, it's a pretty straightforward lineup outside of like center back, Heinz Ike, Svatok, Cascante could be kind of like a revolving door at times. Owen Wolf is a key player. All of these guys are key players. Sadovich and Duvasarski could be a toss-up-ish, but yeah, I lean this, and this is the lineup that I have on RotoWire as well. I think they will roll with that. So great job by him. The expert we have for Austin. The kid, 2 goals. He looks really good. And in his sub appearances too, he's looked really sharp, and it's interesting how young he is. And, he's very underrated. I mean, no one has talked about him, even with the sub appearances earlier. So be interesting with him. Hey, Deco, what's happening? Same spot with Forsberg. Have him as my extra in the top lineup, but now going back and forth. Dude, that's how whenever I go through mine, it's like I have to play him just in this spot. You have to play him. But like it's more of a recency bias because I've played him in good spots and then he just nukes the lineup. And especially this game week, don't want that to happen. So he'll find his way into one of the lineups, I think. But I bought Mihailovic, and that kind of forced Forsberg back another lineup in my initial builds. But we'll see if I make any changes today. Houston. So Houston needed extra time. These U.S. Open Cups with the extra time could be a little bit of a nightmare, to say the least. Because guys that came off the bench ended up going like a full game. So like McGlynn came off the bench, played 93 minutes. So some of these guys, they are set starters, but if there is some rotation, but they're playing the Phoenix Rising and they ended up opening it up a little bit, but Jack McGlynn bangers. Ryan Walter, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. Owen Wolf, set piece guy. Excuse me. That's a great craft. Tremendous. He's had a very, very good season. I just needed his dad to leave town and then open up his it went from he's a nepotism kid to, man, he's a stud. As far as Houston, I went through, and as you can see on Server Inside, I went through and put all the minutes the players played to give you a better idea of why I went with some of these percents. So that'll kind of help, everybody out. No, you didn't miss Atlanta. Nope. Just we're in the second match, just kind of rolling in here. Didn't miss anything yet. So the only kind of question marks would be the guys that played 120. Escobar suspended. He is suspended this match for a red card, and then the following match for yellow card accumulation. Barlow went full 120. Urso and Kowalczyk, guys that have just been bench guys, subs. So that doesn't really change anything. Ortiz got his visa, and he's actually with the team, so he's another option at center back. Odesu played 75 minutes off the bench, but he should be in there. Sviatchenko didn't play. They gave him some extra rest there. Outside of that, it should be Steras at left back. I'd kind of be shocked if it wasn't. And then the rest of the guys, it should be their starting lineup against Seattle at home. Shouldn't be any changes there. They still suck. Nothing changed. Poor Atlanta. It's Hershey. Vancouver's still doing it, man. We're 2 weeks from my last stream, and there's still the feel-good story that, phenomenal. So happy for you. I just instantly screwed because I got St. Clair against Miami. Not necessarily. They got to make the trip up to Minnesota. I know they just scored 4 on the Red Bulls, but I've seen crazier things. They lost the previous 3 matches before then. And about the most shocking thing ever, Chicago, who never keeps clean sheets, held one against Miami. But Yeah, as long as he doesn't concede 3, which, is a chance. As long as he doesn't concede 3, I think he's going to have enough volume that he could have a decent floor score. And then if he has a clean sheet, you're probably looking at 80 plus, which it's risky, but there's worse options this game week. That's for sure. And Houston's taking on Seattle. So I did just update this a little bit ago. I got some information here. I watched Spencer's presser to get a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, they got Jeffrey Gall. But with how many goals they've been allowing, it might not even matter. Rusnak and Jesus Ferreira will be making the trip with the expectation of playing. That was a direct quote. I wrote it down. Yeah. So Rusnak was just off to the side. It seems like it's not a big deal. But Jesus Ferreira, I gave him 40%, but I don't think he's going to be in the starting lineup. It just doesn't make sense as far as everything else with him being modified. Jackson Reagan has been in modified training. I gave him a little bit of a percent chance, but I think he's still a little bit out, especially with the congested fixtures. It doesn't make sense to bring him back this early. U.S. Open Cup for the Tacoma Defiance. Man, I can't shake this. Andrew Thomas played in net. Reed Baker Whiting, Costa Rienzi, and Minongu all played 90 minutes. But again, those are bench guys. But they did slide down to the Tacoma. They should have won that match, honestly, against Portland. Other than that, Jordan Morris is, he's out for a little bit. And it just kind of depends what formation to go with. Rothrock, Kent, I see that as a revolving door moving forward, especially with this. So if Kent coming off, a great 30 minutes where like the team was St. Louis kind of softened up, but provided 2 assists. Schmetzer made the comments that they're still ramping him up. He's still not 90-minute fit, but he's 60-minute fit for sure. I have Rothrock starting here, but I wouldn't be shocked as, the middle match, that Wednesday match, midweek match, Ryan Kent getting his first start. I really see that. Yeah. Ryan Kent going to smash in. Yeah. He looks like a good option. Yeah. And then the interview yesterday, likely back one of the next 2, Reagan 2 or 3. Yeah. He gave that timeline where like everybody was, we expect him to have him by the 3rd game. If it's not the first one, it's the 2nd one. If it's not the 2nd one, it's the 3rd one. Yeah, he did that. And then he said that Jesus Ferreira was today's. They basically talked about the new signing, De Rosario. He got a first-team contract. He's going to travel with the team. It was mainly just about him today, but they did say about it. Yeah, Kent could very well be Seattle's best player. He does have that level, and he could be like maybe like a Hartle, like how he just came into the league and started smashing his face off. Seems like he plays pretty well for that. With this formation, if this is what they go with, it's a kind of a switch. It doesn't have to be this 4-1-4-1. It could be slightly different, but other than that, this toss-up, I don't see Ferreira starting. Even if he does make the trip, I just don't see it. And with the other guys being fully rested, should look like this until Schmetzer pulls a Schmetzer and just goes with a different formation. And then, I only get 6 right because he just goes crazy rotation in Houston. But we'll cross that bridge. Hopefully, maybe next game week where you guys can change your lineups afterwards. Which is nice for the midweek that they are allowing us to do that, just because it's going to be a complete nightmare. But I will have my lineups out. Not that they really do anything. I guess you could like preset your lineups, but I know I'll preset lineups and then change them just in case, like, I sleep through something, but alarms will be set, worst case scenario. But I feel bad for the players, across the pond or anywhere else where you're kind of behind the 8 ball for sure on this, which is why I'm against rolling locks in general. I know it'd be easy for me. I only play MLS, but the reason I got into Sorare and liked it was like I didn't know anything about Asia, and I got into Asia and like all these different places. If you had to stay up for me to play Asia, like I just would stop playing the competition. But again, I only play MLS, so it's positive for me. Yeah. One player that really impressed, Shambos. Yeah, he smashed. I didn't have him in like any key lineups, sadly. I've played him in like solid lineups throughout the season. Consistency is huge, and if Schulte can ever keep a clean sheet, yeah, he had that blunder. What was he doing? I own a Schulte, I guess 2 Schultes, but 1 in season, and it's just been brutal because if he doesn't keep that clean sheet, it's just not a good day. Portland Timbers, Sporting Kansas City. I did get some information, just updated this as well for Neville's talk today. Forey and Pantemis are out. They're both expected back next week. They said Forey maybe midweek, Pantemis maybe weekend, just kind of up in the air there. Available, Rodriguez and Chara. So the kind of starting 11 type of, like drills today, the beat writer Adam Sussman said that they had their 10, and then I think it's this likely 10. Julio Ortiz most likely, unless Chara's good from the gate, right out of the gate. But Anthony and Rodriguez were swapping in and out. So that's a big toss-up. Anthony's been great, and it's really tough to take him out of the lineup. He can play that right side too. So maybe we see some rotation between Anthony Rodriguez and, maybe even Moreno, maybe even DaCosta, especially these congested fixtures. I think we're going to see some rotation where one guy is going to get, rested, especially when Rodriguez is fully healthy. Felipe Mora and Kevin Kelsey have been swapping every other match. So this would be Mora, especially since he didn't play midweek. It should be him, but there is a little bit of risk there. And I agree. Crepeau, just whatever it is, he's conceded 4 in back-to-back matches, or 4 and 3, 4 and 2. I don't know. Not great. I need like a 37 for Sermon, and he didn't hit it. Dang. Sorry to hear that, Ryan. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Like, Pantemis was already doing well enough to keep the job. Now, like, him not playing, for sure. Certain side projecting 95. That is sort of probabilities who provides all that data. Sometimes there's some wildly high, but it is a really good matchup. 95 is crazy. 90 is crazy for Ayala, but if Ayala gets a decisive, he's putting up enough AA where he's been putting up 30 AA. So, that's not out of the frame of reference of possibility. Moreno, I feel like hitting 95 might be more surprising than Ayala hitting 90, but both guys are in good matchups. And they're playing Spring Kansas City. So this is Alex. Yeah, if there's not enough data or there's some weird things going on with a new team or something like that, there's always some craziness. But maybe Anthony, he gets 100 just because he's getting so many decisives, and Sporting Kansas City has been up and down, to say the least. They've been solid in their last 5, 3 out of 5, 3 and 2, I think. Yeah. As Alex has here, the kind of question marks that changes things. Ndembe came off injured, so could be libeled. I went with libeled as well. And then just kind of, if one guy's out, then just replacement. So Shelton coming back from injury, if he can start, that would push Jake Davis to the midfield, which should Rodoya should be the guy who drops out based on prior, unless he starts over Bartlett, but it just kind of makes sense that way. And then the front 3 should be pretty set there. But again, Portland 57%, almost 2 XG. As far as XG, the top dogs are Colorado. It's 1.9 on here. I saw 2 on one of the betting sites was the implied earlier today. So yeah, any teams you want to target those teams that are in that. So like you look at Houston, their implied total is 1.1 at home. A full goal, just about more than that, is pretty nuts. And then you have like Montreal 0.8, Austin 0.9. It's just insane. Just insane. Yeah, that's just I just don't understand how that's even possible, right? Not attempting a single shot, but you win the match off that Maya Yoshida own goal. Oh my gosh, that's I know Ricky Puig does a lot, but there's just so much wrong with the team, and now that's why I'm just so high on that matchup. It's just I don't know. It should pay off for the Red Bulls, but it's so hard to trust them. 55%, 1.7 is one of the highest they've had all year. It's tough to trust them though, but this Galaxy team without Peck and Paintsel, whew. But this will be the game they get their first win of the season. And everyone's just like, what just happened? Just because MLS does that sometimes. Nashville, Charlotte. So Nashville, based on the midweek, full rotation. Only 3 starters played minutes. Meyer off the bench 59 minutes after Washington got hurt. Yazbek 11 and Mule 11. So with Brugman starting and playing the full match, it just kind of further locks in that Yazbek and Tagseth are the 2 guys. I'm really surprised that Brugman isn't starting over Yazbek, to be honest. I kind of coming into the season, I thought he would have a lot of progressive buildup and do a lot for this team, but that's just not the case. Zimmerman's still fighting that concussion protocol. That's pretty nasty that he's been out this long, but he should break that soon, you would think. And then the other ones would just be toss-ups if Kassem would start compared to Schaffelberg. But other than that, you hate when it seems like this should be the lineup and then, you get full rotation, but this should be the lineup. Yeah, they just fumbled like crazy. Yeah, just completely outplayed. The XG was crazy. I mean, completely crazy. And they're playing Charlotte, who the big questions right here. Kalina. So baby watch. At least we know going into it, so you can kind of adjust accordingly. Bingham will start if the baby comes. If the baby doesn't come, Kalina will likely be in net. With it being travel to Nashville, that's not as far, but there's a good chance he just doesn't travel just in case the baby comes. I don't know the due date, but they did say that he is on baby watch. Maybe the baby came tonight. We just don't know, and we probably won't know with certainty until the deadline. So if you have a Kalina and a Bingham, maybe you play them in 2 separate lineups. If you have a Kalina, don't put him in your top lineup. That's just how I would play it. But yeah, that's kind of my thinking there. Yeah, Tagseth he had like some crazy games, like I think 2 crazy games I remember, and I was just like, man, he's really good. And then the rest has just been half decent. Disappointing. I would agree with that. Red or Dead, that game was a pain to watch. Yeah, terrible, especially a standalone game like that. Oh, that was awful. And they do need Zimmerman back. Yeah, you're right, Dunk. As far as Pep Biel, he should be back in the starting lineup, in my opinion. He's been fully training and should be available. Other than that, again, they played midweek and they went 120 minutes. The question mark would be who starts at right back. We have Scardina, who has started before, Marshall Ruddy coming in. But Marshall Ruddy and Privet started and went the full 90. The full 120 midweek. So, yeah, it's hard to really see Scardina not starting. But I've seen crazier things, I guess. Outside of that, if it was 120 minutes, is too much. Maybe Ream slides over and then they play Marshall Ruddy or someone else. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see that happening, but this should be the starting lineup. The big question mark would be here. Diani playing 120 minutes means in my head that Pep Biel is good to start and is as fit as it gets. But other than that, that's kind of, there's not too many question marks there, which is always great until there is. What's happening, Jesse? Let's see. I got right on at 9:30, so 30 minutes in. I think I've only gone through like 4 games, but we'll get there. Haven't gone to St. Louis yet. Not sure if I want to go there, but You need 90 between the two. Yeah, it was just a stinker. I suggested both of those. I thought they were going to have. I thought Sporting Kansas City was in a great spot. I shouldn't have trusted them. Brutal. Speaking of Alex, who went to the game, I'm sorry you went to that game. I thought it was going to be a smash, but a win is a win, right? Another weekend where K-League trumps everything this time for me. I love it. I kind of love that. Love everything about it. Not even our fans want to go there right now. Yeah. You won in the cup. You feel a strong team in the cup. Oh man, are we just? Yeah, we're 4 games in. Brutal. All right, pick up the pace maybe a little bit. New York City FC, good form, but they lost to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I was debating on going, but I had a lot of things kind of going on, and with doing lineups and things like that, I was behind. I had also had an adult league hockey game last night at 10:30, so everything kind of swirled together where I didn't end up going over. But man, this Riverhound team always does well in the U.S. Open Cup, which is a lot of fun. Now they travel to Philly. That's another one. It's tough to travel for me midweek, but tough. Yeah, reminders in my notes, but Shappy will be subbed off for 20 to 30 left every time from now on. Brutal. So formation-wise, this could be a little bit different. A lot of it hinges on Keaton Parks' availability. Same ailment he was dealing with at the beginning of season, end of preseason. And he's been messing around with his boosts to be able to play with the issue. He wasn't able to last match. I am at 60%. I think there's a really good chance he starts. If he starts, then Hack in for Burke Risa, and you kind of switch. Everything kind of slides into place that way. They did play 3 in the back with Gray at that right center back position. If you remember back, was that 2 years ago at the end of this season, Tavon Gray was one of the best defender cards outside of like the big guns, but he was so solid at, scoring 60 plus every time, just because in that right center back role, he just racks up AA. So if that continues, that's something to watch. But again, formation here with O'Toole doubtful with a leg, it just kind of forms this back 3. It just makes too much sense. But yeah, things going well. Yeah, they traded Pickens too for a washing machine. So I guess that's good. Tomlin wanted him out. So Tuggy, let's go. How many points is? Let's see. We'll come back to that question, actually. I'll ask it later. And in the attack, Pereira, 70%. But again, this hinges a lot on Parks, if he's in the starting lineup or not. And then you would think based on the minutes, they rotated a ton. But there were guys that were starters, like Gray, Shore, Hack, Ojeda, and Beccarar started, played the full 90. But then, again, Wolf played 81. You had these guys are subbed in the 81st minute. They started. So Wolf started. They had a lot of guys that started. So we have not talked San Diego yet. So you got plenty of time. They're in good form and they're in a great matchup. I really like Julian Fernandez. I was talking to Gator about it. It was kind of a guy that we both landed on. As long as he starts, right? You just never know with him. You could see an Ojeda start, but with him coming off the bench for 45 minutes, I feel like he'll get it. But yeah, there's a little bit of risk, but he took sets last match. He did a little bit of everything. They could not handle him. FC Cincinnati could not handle him. And they were playing CF Montreal. So Montreal, a lot of revolving doors, a lot of George Campbell play. He was fully training. It seemed like he was with the group today based on every tweet I saw, but there is some risk there with him in the starting lineup. Our good friend here, Gary Encha, has him at Neal 70%, Campbell 30. I would probably go 50-50 if I could. I'm struggling with if he'll start or not. I think it's pretty tight between the two. We haven't seen really anything from Jalen Neal with injuries, everything like that after the Galaxy trade. And then the other kind of questionable spots, just squad rotation, right? Duke and Sinchuk both out. It just kind of makes it a little bit trickier with the rotation. Herbers has started, I think it was 2 matches ago, he started on the left side. For Pierce has started there as well, so there's a little bit of a toss-up. Yankov could be in there. It's crazy. Caden Clark, how good he was last year, and now it's just he's unplayable. Sealy in the starting lineup. This lineup's just not good. It's just not good. Don't want it on the screen anymore. Next up, speaking of not good Canadian teams, Toronto. Sorry that Vancouver has to carry the weight of an entire country on their back. Render Dead 23rd, second half. Here we go. He's on 52 in your cap. Let's go. Let's get a decisive, baby. Love to hear it. This is a team I haven't gone too far back in. They didn't have a midweek match, so just kind of tracking injuries and things like that. Guys who didn't play after the Canadian Championship last midweek. Then weekend, there was some rotation based on that. Just kind of getting back into it. Like Long was held out. He should be back in the starting lineup. Gomes went up with an opt-in knock. I haven't seen much more on it, just a little bit of a knock. But I have Rosted starting if they go like a 4-1-4-1 or if it's 4-2-3-1, all the different formations that they've played so far. 3 in the back, they've done that as well. 3-4-2-1. So a lot of different kind of question marks there. Petretta should be pretty safe. Thompson on the right side has been pretty safe. Davy Flores in this defensive mid role, he is a monster. He covers a lot of field. I do like his profile a lot. Does a lot. It kind of reminds me of Jose Martinez from whenever he played for Philadelphia. Kind of that role, not as like yellow card driven, but yeah. Balad, what's happening? Thanks for coming back in. Appreciate you. I'm good. How are you? Corbano has been good. I have an 80%. It's just if Ola starts or not. Ola should be good. Another week of rest. He's just been very injury prone to start the season. Coelho and Longstaff started last match. Insigne on the bench again. Dominguez on the bench. So it's just hard to put him back in the starting lineup when the coach, Robin Fraser, does not like Insigne at all. He's not shy about it. You can tell. Bernardeschi surprisingly started. I was a little worried about him starting just based on he had a knock. He didn't train much, but he was good to go. Yeah, that's for sure. The vibes aren't good. No. Fans are turning on the management, rightfully so. Yeah, just not good enough. I know they have some injuries. I mean, you look at this list, Osario going down. Richie Larea has been out forever. But even if you have all these guys, this team still stinks. It's not been good for multiple years. I know that Insigne's contract is brutal, but if you have a guy like Bernardeschi, you should be better. Just the signings haven't been up to par, and they're playing DC. So DC, for my personal gallery, forward options are not very good. So it is nice to see Benteke at 90%. This is Danya. He's a big DC fan. Benteke has been cleared, which is great. You love to see that, especially as just another option at forward. I know it's a road match, but Toronto, I know they play better at home. You like Benteke at a possible 60 points here, maybe 60 to 70. Not going to get 100, but yeah, you would think he's in good shape here. A lot of high percents here, which is good to see. And Antley starting like in the center back was kind of shocking that he was in the starting lineup for me. But with McNaughton out for 1 to 2 months and Badgie as well, yeah, it's kind of they're running out of options here. Peltolo would be the other guy. I can't believe he just doesn't get run. This is a guy that is he's a young DP, I believe. Gonna have to check that. He's either that or an under 22 player. I thought he was a DP. Yeah, he's a young DP in an international spot. He takes up both, and he doesn't really start ever. He's had a couple starts this season that I can remember. Maybe 3, 4. I don't know. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's had 4 and 4 sub appearances. He's in the national team though, so like it just doesn't make sense how he doesn't have a starting role in this team. But I'm not the coach. Next match, FC Dallas. So they beat Alta. I think they had the easiest matchup in my opinion. And they went for it. They played a lot of starters. Not everyone. They played a lot of starters. Guys like Shaq Moore played 45 minutes. Acosta played 62 minutes. And they're kind of only the main ones. Ramiro is suspended. So whenever he was subbed out, it looked like Show was the guy that went into his like center defensive mid role. So I think that's how it's going to work. The true question mark here would be Delgado. Is it going to be Delgado? Is it going to be a guy that's more attacking with Pellegrino? Intensabeleng could be him. And the other question mark would be what formation do they play? Nolan Norris drops out if it's a back 3. And the other kind of 2 question marks would be Ibiaga. He was sick, not injured, sick in the midweek, but Abubakar would be the guy that would be in the starting lineup if he can't go. And then Farrington versus Musa, based on some insider information from Daniel Brubaker. Somebody in like one of the forums that he's in asked Petar Musa at the match if he was ready to go, and he said he would be ready to go this weekend. I would think a bench appearance first, but that can go either way. So that's what I think. Dallas lines up, and they're in a good matchup against Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake is dealing with some injury issues. We did get an availability report. That's huge. You love to see that. Listed as out, Matthew Bell, Zach McMath, Brown, and Quentin. Quentin was the one that I didn't have as out. I had him as questionable. So it's good to get that kind of locks in Hidalgo coming back from a red card. But then you got Vera and Kobe Henry, both questionable. I went with Junqua again at left center back and then Vera at 40%. But if Vera is good to go and he's, all cleared, he has a good chance of starting. Junqua isn't natural in a 4-back as a left center back. If you remember his time with Dallas, he played left center back in a back 3. Just kind of, he's more of a left back / like in between those 2 positions. I have Catranas at 80%. 20% of that is probably, coming from Junqua, but he should start. Gozo has started. Dominic Markzuk did not make it off the bench last match, so I would like to see him get some minutes coming back from that slight knock. Then I do have Agata starting over Piol, just based on what I've seen. It could be a little bit of a toss-up there, but let's be honest, you're probably not playing either of them. So it shouldn't matter, but it might matter to somebody out there. Luna and Gonzalez, and Nelly Ojeda, all guys that are quite safe. All right, Chicago Fire. All right. With the preseason, with Ryan being in here, I don't want to talk too poorly about Atlanta, but I mean, the elephant in the room. As you can see here, with how bad they've been, Hugo Kuipers is projected to score 100. That will not happen, but you never know, I guess. Maybe he'll score 5 goals to get to 100. David Obb, what's happening? How we doing? Yeah, that our glass. That's a said no crush. Said the truth free. It's hysterical. Cup's killing it at 16 is crazy. Yeah. Unbelievable. He did not look out of place whatsoever. So that's mean. I'm big into like the youth development in MLS, and I love whenever a guy comes along, and they were down a man forever. And Zink scored pretty well being down a man too. So there's a lot of good things going on there. Chris Berry is suspended, like we talked about earlier in the stream. Jeff Gow, he'll be the starter, and Brian Dowd, super draft pick, will be the backup on the bench. I mean, I would be shocked if it's the other way around. Maury Glasgow played really well in the midweek, and Haile Selassie also played really well in the midweek. Slight chances boosted for them. Jonathan Dean, based on minutes, he played 45 minutes as a sub. They won 4-0 over Detroit City. It's nothing crazy, but they took care of business. Based on the numbers with Sam Rogers playing the full 90, I think Cup starts again. I think he deserves that start. I know I'm 60-40 on that. I would like to be higher on Cups. I do really think he starts, but I just, he's 16 and you don't know what's going to happen with there. But I think he's earned every bit of another start. The midfield is tough. Acosta, I didn't see that coming. He played 90 minutes midweek, coming back from that upper body injury. With it being an upper body, of course, he doesn't matter like his fitness. He should be 90-minute fit. But with this kind of turnover, I just, I think it's going to be back to Pineda and Aurelio as the two starters, just based on the other minutes. But again, if Acosta starts, no one would be shocked whatsoever. Right. Isn't it prom week? I know. Crazy, right? Who is the St. Louis guy? Like Miguel Perez or something? I think that was he. Like graduated high school and I think he had high school graduation the next day, and they're dogging on him. Julian Hall couldn't play after he didn't have his work permit or whatever for Red Bull New York, so he couldn't play the night games. There's just hysterical things that storylines involved. The front four and the attack should all be in there. I like Zink this week a lot. I think Gutierrez could have a good match. I think Bamba could have a good match, but you just can't trust Bamba. With that red card suspension, he was the guy that made way. Just tough. Kuiper scored his goal like he always does. He's having a great season. So, he scored that week too. That's why it was a big storyline. Yeah, that's right. Whatever happened to him? Did he get loaned out this year? I feel like he got loaned out or something, because I haven't come across that name at all. Or is he just not with the team? He got let go last year. Oh, okay. Loaned to City too. Okay. I was going to say, I just haven't seen his name. So I was going to say, since he's so young, I wouldn't think they just, axed him. But okay. That makes sense. All right. And Atlanta United. So Ryan's in here. Pretty straightforward. Outside of, the midfield spot here, Klitsch. Miyamba coming back from injury. Expect to be questionable, and Sliz would be your three there. Outside of that, you love to see all these greens. But this team you just can't trust. But Chicago gives up goals. Never know. Yeah, Kevin Sullivan, they made him take orders at Raising Cane's. That's hysterical. You love to see it. Yeah, just that doesn't make a lot of sense. Especially with all the injuries that they've had, it's you would think these guys would get run because they need to, but very odd. We're not going to rip them. I don't really have anything else to say. I have more Atlanta players than I'd like right now because I'm not playing any of them, I don't think, this week, which is pretty brutal. I agree. Yeah, they do need to start tinkering and doing something different. It's obviously not working. They need to do something different. We'll see. You would think there's some tinkering going on with so much in so little time. You would think there's going to be some rotations and some tinkering, but I guess we'll see, right? Vancouver, it's Hershey. Some good news, some bad news. Good news, Brian White's expected to be back. Will he start right away? It was just a hamstring precaution knock. I'm not sure if he's going to start right away. Not sure. So that's why I went with Rios. I think they just can't afford to lose him by the end of the month. So I think they're going to treat him with bubble wrap. Just because CONCACAF Champions Cup final, you already don't have Berhalter. You can't afford to lose him as well. Ryan Gauld still not training, which is a bummer. Again, they're kind of treating him with bubble wrap. if they can get him back for the final, that would be huge. I think they're more just looking at that. If they can get him into, shape by then, you still have over 3 weeks to get him back. It's been a lot longer than I thought it would be, but that's a shame. And then Laborda is training fully for the first time. That was good to see. I don't see him starting right out of the gate. I think, boy, these guys have earned it. They've earned starting positions. Ocampo has been really good. I think that he earns at least a rotation between him and Laborda. They have a lot of good options. Tate Johnson and Adekugbe, a guy that stepped in. And I think those two guys in these like rotation spots, they can play their, almost full second team and they're still getting results, which is really cool to see. Vite can play on that right wing if he needs. Kubash should be in the starting lineup. These guys should be in the starting lineup. 90%, 90%. Nagando has played a lot, but again, wherever this rotation is going to happen, you can see like Jaden Nelson coming off the bench here and then starting the next match, which they've done a lot. Yeah, they've been great, right? 5 straight clean sheets against Rebs, 4 straight, surely game of the week. Yeah, 0-0, just absolute stunner. I don't think anyone would be, maybe if you have the attack in any of those, but the goalkeeper and the defense in those teams would feel good about it. But yeah, them taking on LAFC is really interesting. And LAFC, they can tinker, they can rotate for sure. It's hard to think that you'd play the top team in the West and not go for it, right? The rotation shouldn't come here. They should play the best possible that they can. Aaron Long had a bit of a knock. It shouldn't be an issue. Marlon and Segura have gone back and forth. It seems like starting, so that's why I went there. David Martinez continues to start. He's been okay, but Under just rotting on the bench. I know he's coming off the bench, but like not starting is just wild to me. Ordaz can play any of those front 3 positions. He's shown he can start. But I do have Giroud back in the starting lineup here. Abobasi scored off the bench coming back. So there is competition up top. But I'm going to kind of stick with this. And instead of Ordaz, Giroud coming in, Ordaz playing the midweek match to get a little bit of rotation there. So that's what I think they'll do here. I know it's a road match, but I mean, you got to think they go for it. They kind of need it at this point to tighten that gap, or no one's going to catch Vancouver if they keep going at this rate. I think it's like the 5th or 6th best start in MLS history, which is unbelievable since they've been in CONCACAF too, which usually equates a slow start for most teams, but not them. Speaking of hot starts and surprises, how about Philadelphia? They needed PKs to beat a really scrappy Indy 11 team. As far as starters, they actually went and played a decent amount of starters in that match too, so that's not great. Andrew Rick played well and got it done in a penalty shootout. So Kevin Sullivan played the full 120. With Macania playing the full 120, it should be Harriel in at center back. I was kind of shocked they left him out. So like Westfield even is starting over him. If you told me that coming into the season, I'd be absolutely floored. But that should be the back line there. As far as the other positions, the attack is really tough right now. Last weekend, Chris Donovan started with Baribo. I was shocked. Donovan only played 55 minutes, and then he was not in the team. So will he start again? Him and Baribo start? I don't know. I lean Ura and Baribo, but it could be Damiani. It's just kind of, are they pulling out of a hat at this moment? There's no real follow the order kind of rotation. But the other positions are pretty locked of who you want to play. In a okay matchup, you're at home. You're playing a Columbus team that, if you're a Schulte owner, you know they just keep conceding. Good news for Columbus. Daniel Gazdag back in the starting lineup, most likely. But we'll see. I think against his former team, it's a kind of a no-brainer. He's good to go. So you would think he's starting. petition to get AZ Jackson off the pitch, no matter how many goals he scores. Outside of that, the real question mark, is it Amundsen or is it Chiburko? I don't know. I don't think Nancy knows until the night before. I don't know. I really don't know what that question of what's going into who's going to play that position. But other than that, unless they do some weird rotations here, which they shouldn't, I think this is the lineup that we're going to see. A pretty strong lineup. Maybe see some rotation midweek. Maybe we do see a guy or two kind of get rotated. But they didn't play U.S. Open Cup, so they should be fresh coming in. Minnesota United didn't start many people in the U.S. Open Cup as far as like even first team guys. Trying to think of, like Sang Bin, all backup guys. Gressel started, went 68 minutes, so that's why I didn't have him starting this match, as he kind of gets into match fitness. Outside of that, several guys were left out of the lineup. Yeboah still with that ankle injury. I know he's been questionable. I don't think he'll start. That brings Carlos Harvey in the central mid with Robin Lode kind of playing up top with Oluwaseyi. Rosales, Markanic, who'd have thought? Markanic scored and had 100 last time out. I know Rosales still, they're looking into it, but they haven't found anything. I was kind of shocked that he didn't start, but maybe just that kind of cloud over his head. But I do have him starting. A bit of a toss-up, though. We really don't know. A lot of different things could happen there. But outside of that, should be straightforward unless we see some guys get some rotation. Oh, excuse me. Gressel, I think he's gonna start next midweek. So not here against Miami. The Miami news that we got, Messi, I think, should start. Messi is training in 100% was the quote. Baltazar Rodriguez is back training. Calendar and Ruiz were the guys who were absent from training Wednesday. Team righted the ship. It's really tough to kind of follow the breadcrumbs of who's going to start, whether they go with their top guys, whether they do some rotating now. My kind of outlook, they have a rivalry match with Orlando coming up. When is that? Next weekend? I think maybe the midweek will be whenever they rotate a little bit and then go full strength against Orlando in a rivalry match. Could be wrong on that, but that just kind of seems like it makes the most sense. I do think a lot of teams with those rivalries coming up on next weekend, I think they're going to do a lot of rotation next midweek. So that's kind of what I'm hoping happens, especially whenever we're going to know what the starting lineups will look like beforehand and be able to edit our rosters out. So a few question marks, Redondo, Bright, it should be Redondo's turn back in the starting lineup. Allen and Falcone have been the key starters here, but will they rotate guys around a little bit? It's hard to say. So that's what I'm going with. Suarez up top, 80%. I think the midweek is whenever we're going to see a little bit of rotation. Orlando City. So Dunk's team, Orlando City. I've been going back and forth. I had Maguire yesterday. I had Maguire at 60%. Ojeda at 40%. I've gone back and forth. I still might change it. I don't have a good feel for it. I don't know what Oscar Pereira is doing. It's difficult. We've heard about there was a knock and he's kind of fighting through that. There's been kind of rumors. I haven't really had a concrete answer. And it's tough. Muriel's locked in, not playing in the U.S. Open Cup. And then that other central role with Atuesta now having a neck issue, questionable, was out of the squad. That's kind of a question mark there with either Cal Smith, maybe Thor Halson. Thor Halson played pretty solid midweek, would be the options. But Cal Smith has started a bunch in a row. Andy Black in the house. Thoughts on the new Pope? Boy, I didn't follow it at all. I knew he's American and he went to Villanova. What more do you need to know, right? Didn't know we even had popes over here. Yeah, I got nothing. That's out of my realm. I don't have many things that I can even talk about comfortably. A new pope would not be one. I know people. Some of my buddies have been like following it nonstop today. I'm just behind the times. I think that was just not on my to-do list today. But Andy, what do you think about the new pope? Tell us more. Laird has to love him. Yeah, Nova. Laird is one step away from being the next pope, right? That's how that works. You just pass it. It's like a fraternity house. You just pass it down to the next guy. Yeah, this was also kind of my thinking of why I had him in the starting lineup to start. Just like he was taken off at halftime, like to save him, hopefully for the weekend, right? Because he would have played longer if not. So I hope so. Brunson following him, yeah. Imagine we won like 10 S's. We got the Pope, right? This would be good stuff. Man, Sarah missed out on an opportunity. Pope cards. Oh man, that's hysterical. And they're playing New England, so Rev Sorare, AJ does them 90% all around, right? Why change a good thing? Makes sense. Yeah, the Open Cup team was pretty much full rotation. I think it was full rotation. I think they rotated every single position. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look at that, but yeah. I don't really think there's anything 90% all around. You love to see that. Freeman MVP, man, he's been so good. He's been so good. Top selling. Oh man, white smoke short prints. That's hysterical. Oh man, people buy anything too. Rapids. All right, here's a team that I like. We'll see how much. I like Mihalovic and Navarro, but I think outside of those two, you're probably not playing anyone else anyway. Zach Steffen would be the other one. Sorry. But outside of those guys, you're probably not really playing any of the other guys. Laraz he's put up good scores before, but as far as this team, you don't really play anybody outside of those guys. Sam Vines returned from a groin knock, played 14 minutes. I think he'll be in the mix to start. And if he doesn't start, he'll probably play 30 plus minutes off the bench. So that's why I'm 60-40 there. Cole Bassett missed last match, and he's questionable with a calf. Surprise omission from the team. Didn't realize. Kind of crazy that he was just out of nowhere. We don't get a ton of information. I follow Burgundy Wave, but they don't really cover training or anything like that. They do a lot of good stuff, but it's just not like helpful for lineup predictions by the deadline. Yeah. But Santos, I like Santos too. Preseason, I thought he was going to be solid, but yeah, the $1 guys in the rare, I did a ton of that, just buying a bunch of, what was the min price? $5 on auction. Some of the guys include some guys that I'm playing in my top lineup this game week. Whenever we get to New York Red Bulls, obviously, I'll talk about that. But sixth at the moment, no decisive on 70. Let's go. Give him a decisive for that 100. Can you win? I know it's late in the game week. Can you win with the decisive? Because that would be awesome. And Colorado, like I said, in a good matchup offensively against the San Jose team. Seth Spencer, shout out to him. Longtime guy in the comments turned into, this guy watches every training picture. And when a team is really hard to get information from, he's all over it, which is really good. So I'm happy to get San Jose off my load of teams. I'm down to 21 teams. So I think I'll stick at 21. It's doable. Like these quick turnarounds are really difficult. Whenever I was doing, the full league last year at 29, it's brutal. But 21's doable. It just kind of takes out a decent amount. Okay, you get second. All right. I mean, podium, baby. Podium dangerous. We'll go through his. Shockingly, Floriani continues to start over Rodriguez. Mooney started over Wilson. Please play this back line as a guy who is really banking on Mihalovic with multiple decisives here. And Navarro having decisive, hopefully. Formation-wise, DeJuan Jones probably in the starting lineup playing on that right side instead of the left. I was thinking he would come in on the left, but Vitor Costa staying there. LaRue and Harks seem pretty safe in the middle. Buda, Espinoza, and Arango. Kind of just depends formation, position. Hernan Lopez played for the Town, and then he played again. He's getting close to being in the starting lineup. He would bump out, probably DeJuan Jones. Espinoza slides here. Yeah, for sure. And then Josef Martinez, questionable again. Or sorry. Is he listed as out or questionable? I think most likely questionable. What did Rodriguez do to not? So he's just in the doghouse with the coach here, just because he got beat on like one-on-one long balls, things like that. And he's struggling with the guys with pace. Floriani is not good. I mean, in comparison, I still think Rodriguez is good. If you don't like him out there, put him in the center. Bruce Arena just doesn't like him. It really just seems like it. He's kind of trying to find any reason not to play him. And kind of these guys aren't even like league average players that are starting over him, in my opinion. But Bruce has his guys, and Rodriguez is not one of his guys. It's just kind of what I take away from it. I mean, Rodriguez should be one of the best defenders on the platform, but he's not. All right, last two games. We get into the St. Louis City team, Just Heat. We're not going to spend too much time on this team. We got better things to do. The big one I do want to highlight is Berkey. Berkey Lunt, as a guy that owns both, they're going to probably go in my last lineup and last two lineups and just play them both. I think if Berkey's healthy, I agree with Just Heat here. If he's healthy, he should start. But yeah, let's not talk about this. Yeah, it's like Bruno. But yeah, if you want to see this, you can go ahead over to SorarInside.com. And if you want to spend your time looking at St. Louis's lineup, you may do so. We'll move on for you. I just don't want to hurt you guys. See, yeah, you're not running either. Makes sense. Mine are like my last two lineups are always throwaway lineups that I'd throw an all-star. But yeah, it's not good. Just take it for what it is. Tuggy's San Diego. So this is Danya's other second team that he does. And Vartson is getting closer, but probably still out. Reyes, same deal. Negri not listed to injured, but he was absent the last two matches. A little weird there. I guess the question marks would be Thomas Angel. Does he start? Does Dreyer play in that striker role again? Valakari, Valakari came off the bench for Mighton. Yeah, Mighton got hurt. But yeah, I really liked what I saw as a guy that has Dreyer, and I don't know if to put him in my top lineup or not. I'm struggling to decide, do I play him at forward? Do I play Navarro? I have these options. He's going to make one of my teams, but I don't know. That road matchup, it might just be a dud against a St. Louis team that might just pack it in, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they travel. They did really well in their first two road matches, then kind of hit a speed bump and got into some form last match. So 40% to 39%, a real toss up there, 1.4 goals each. That's not a game that I'd want to watch personally, but I usually just watch MLS 360 and then the Union on another screen and call it a day. So whatever highlights they got there, I guess I'm in for it. Last match of the day. Omar Valencia, let's talk about him. He was one of the guys that I got for min price, and he's been great. The last several games, I wrote about him in my RotoWire article. I like him. I'm going back and forth between playing him in my top lineup. I think this matchup against the Galaxy is too good to pass up. Watch, he'll have like negative 10 AA and just kills my lineup. But I think he has some risk to him, but I think that upside's there. And for a guy I'm trying to get 475 points, I think he's a defender that could get there. My other option is Miles Robinson. I'll talk about him whenever I go through the building process. Edelman back in the midweek, so that's good to see for them. He does change a lot of things in the midfield. So kind of a toss-up between him and Stroud. Who's going to start there? How many minutes did Stroud played? 59. Edelman played 31 midweek. And then there were guys like Hack who started, but mostly it was just kind of backup guys. So I wouldn't think they start here. Carmona, if Harper's still not back, which it seems like he's trending towards not being able to. Sofo on the right side. So that left mid and right mid position, you just don't feel like that's great. Although this is a great matchup, there are still holes in this New York Red Bulls team, and they've let down before. So I don't know. I'm going to trust them for a couple players. I think Cornell is a great play. Forsberg's the one that I just don't know if I can trust him. I'm going to play him, but where I play him is the real question. And last team, Paintsel and Peck out. Peck hasn't been technically rolled out, but he's most likely coming back for the match in Philly. It just kind of comes down to formation. We've said that before with multiple teams. What formation are they going to play? If they play 3 in the back, Zanka's in, or like Nelson, in theory, could play that left center back with Aude playing that left wing back or left mid role. Is it going to be Parente or Sanabria? Sanabria, somehow he had that big price tag, everything. Difficult here. So I don't know why he's not getting burned. There must be, I know he was injured and he was coming back from injury. That's came and gone. That was like 3 weeks ago. So kind of surprised there. That front 3 doesn't really scare you as far as like pace and things like that. Yeah, they have some quality up there, but yeah, I gotta trust Cornell. Fingers crossed for that streak. Yeah, keep that streak going, baby. Keep that skull, baby. I like him, but usually I don't know. He's my favorite option. I don't own one. I wish I owned him for this game week. I almost thought about just buying him, but he's a goalie. So I ended up not doing that. Just Heat, you're doing the same thing. Yeah, the Galaxy have been so bad. But again, this is MLS. Watch, the Galaxy just win somehow. They don't have a win all year, and then they win this match. I've seen crazier, right? I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be peak MLS for that to happen. But that's it. That's every team when we went through them. If you have any questions, like I can go back through anything you want, but now I'm going to transition over here. Probably right. I know it's just like anytime I think there's like a certainty of something to happen, I've been so wrong this year. Hello, Orlando. Clean sheet. Yeah, clean sheet possibility for Orlando. That both teams in that matchup. Never trust MLS goalkeepers. Absolutely. Balot or matchups. Absolutely. Gillespie just is a brick wall in there. Yeah. So let's just talk about. I guess I don't even need this open. I'm just going to kind of talk through my thoughts of what I've been kind of doing since I haven't done this in a while. And if it doesn't interest you or you just want to like head out, I'm not going to be bothered at it at all. So I'm just going to talk about what I've been doing over the last literally, when was it announced? Like 5-6 weeks ago that they would have this Masters competition. Um, basically, I have been running 3 in-season lineups of all 5 to qualify for this, and I got lucky enough that I am qualified. I'm actually on the last streak somehow, but I've been literally basically playing worse lineups because if I played the one-off classic, I would be a much better lineup. I've been playing worse lineups, so I'm kind of basically affecting, how much rewards I'm getting each game week. But the idea was I knew the competition was going to be good. I knew it was going to be difficult for people to not only play 5, but to put these streaks together. I knew it would be difficult. And I've been running 3 every time. So it hasn't been my top lineup that's hit. So, like, for example, the second week, it was my 3rd lineup that hit it. I got really lucky. And sometimes 3 bullets is better than 1 bullet. And I've just been kind of living by that. I got lucky again last game week. I mean, Carl's Hill went off. Dreyer went off. You just have these guys that just smash. You have to get your captain right. I've gotten lucky that way. But now I have to hit 475. It's tough. Yeah, play Galese and Hill. Hill's been my captain every week. That's why I'm here. That's a lot of it. I've played Ivicic. He's done very well in this 4-match stretch. He's been in that lineup that's got me there in 2 of them. I never would have thought that would be the case, but here we are. So me going into this, it's really difficult in my game theory in this. It's really difficult to kind of think, okay, I want to, number one, make sure everyone plays, obviously, but I don't want to be so safe that the guys aren't capable of hitting that 80 plus. So as far as goalkeeper, you have to nail it. I got a little bit lucky. I wouldn't say lucky, but a little bit lucky with Celentano coming through. I needed like an average of 60 after XP from Celentano, Miles Robinson, and Evander. Evander completely played horrendous, but Celentano did very well. I mean, he just lit up the stats sheet. He did concede 1, but 21 AA. He didn't get a clean sheet, but I got it done. You pretty much need a clean sheet to hit 375. Somehow I didn't have it, and I hit 374.4 or something last week, which would have been a bad beat this week. But I am going to run it back. Austin might not have as much volume as we saw in the away matchup, which kind of scares me that it might be a clean sheet or bust kind of situation. But with Celentano, he usually gets some shots. Lunt isn't available, obviously. And then Schulte, that's a sneaky upside. He could, in theory, put up a good score. But if you just look at the last stretch, he does kind of not make you want to play him. Ivicic, a chance against Orlando. He's definitely going to be one of my top 3, if not my second one. It's a tough matchup against Orlando, though. I think their clean sheet streak is going to get broken here, but we'll see. Celentano for my gallery is a no-brainer. If you have Cornell, I would feel great about it. That's why I was kind of leaning like, okay, do I want to spend this money? Because in theory, okay, I could get $800 this game week, and then I would qualify for the gold badge, which there might be 5 people that qualify for that by the end. And that ROI could be crazy and just be worth that. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm going to stick with my guns here and stick with Celentano. Mihaljevic captain last week in Paintsel, but still made it with Dreyer and Galese. Nice. Daniel, what's happening? Thanks for coming in, man. So here is my conundrum. I talked about with Gator Guy, Laird, Harry, just kind of trying to bounce it off people as like a soundboard, because I know whatever decision I make, there could be a decision that, really messes this up. So I'm between, throw out pick scores, throw out anything. I'm between Omar Valencia in that matchup, and Miles Robinson as a guy that's, if you stack them together, they get a clean sheet. That is a huge bonus. Flip side of that, if they concede, that's taken away as well. But huge bonus possibility. Miles Robinson can score 75, right? 64, 77. 75 injuries and back-to-back here, 68. He's capable, right? I think he's the safer play. I think he's definitely the safer play. And it would make a lot of sense to do a defensive stack here. It absolutely would. But my kind of gut all week has been to play Robinson in my second lineup. I know this doesn't make a lot of sense. And play Valencia's upside. Valencia has been really, really good. And I'm going to stick with him. If you just kind of look at his scores, I know you don't get scores for previous weeks. You don't. But this matchup should be so good on paper that it's hard for me not to play him. As far as you look at the matchups, I don't know. It just makes too much sense. Streaks, you can play out every scenario and then gut is your best lineup for sure. Just sold your Miles Robinson for good profit, bought it when he's injured. It was hard to do. Yeah, making profit is probably way smarter than, holding on to these guys. That's for sure. No Engel. So Engel, for me, it's a no. If he plays, he's going to have to get an assist. And if you think back to like this matchup, he played center back. If he plays in that left center back role, which everyone's healthy now, that's when he smashes. But he's just not consistent with the scoring, and he hasn't been he's had chances in the attack, but I just can't really. I think that's a chance that you're probably going to score from 35 to 40 more times than you're going to score 75 plus with him. So that's why I didn't go with him. And you need guys that can score 100. And Valencia, I feel like, just has a little bit more upside. He's way riskier, but pretty difficult here. Just trying to hit 475. I think no matter what I do, I'm probably not going to hit 475, but I want to give it my best effort. And like the guys that I bought Mihalovic. There's a reason I did. So if you look ahead to the Streaks competition, they play home against Real Salt Lake as the other, I think game week 80 is that when the actual comp is. So I bought him for that as well. So that's kind of a double, a double dip there. Two main stacks have tough matchups, LAFC and Columbus, but need to choose one defender from either. Boy, it would be nice if we just knew like Chaburko would start or Amundsen, so you have one of those guys. Zawadzki doesn't have defender cards, that throws him out. Morera's been okay, but you don't feel great. You wish like Arfson had a defender card, but he doesn't. Boy, that's tough. I don't have a good answer for that. Maybe you go the LAFC route, but at Vancouver has been brutal for everybody. To be honest, I don't have a good one there. Play the riskier lineup. At this point, it doesn't really matter. I have multiple D1s and the other one's D2. But like the risky, it's not, in theory, it's not like risk of getting relegated. It's just I'm either going to hit 475 or I'm going to hit 300. It's not risk of them starting. I'm not playing anybody that has a risk of starting, if that makes sense. Yeah, Masters is going to require 5 in season. And Freeman has been so good. So like that's another defender option. Like this game week, he's in a smash spot. That's a phenomenal spot. And like, I know his prices went up. Same with Valencia. Like his price, it's kind of tough to buy that, right? It just doesn't make sense to pay that amount. I don't even know what it is, but whenever I was looking at the limited price, it was too high. But this matchup, I'm ready to be let down by the Red Bulls once again. So whatever I decide, the other decision will be the right one, but it still might not even matter. So I did buy this Mihailovic. I know he's coming off a dud, but this home matchup, there's going to be goals. They have the highest team total at 2.00. He's another guy that could get 100. He's going to need 2 decisives at it, but he is capable. I mean, he's on pens. And then we get to forward. So I've been all over the place with forward because I did buy Navarro because I do like him in this matchup as well. And that seems like who I want to play here. But I also like some of these other guys. Dreyer, I know it's a road matchup against St. Louis. They could slow him down here. He's been good, right? And I don't think you could fault anyone for playing any of those 2 guys. Denke is too decisive dependent. I don't think he has as much upside. He's probably going to score 60 to 65 with a decisive, which he could get a decisive. Like his double decisive was here, right? Yeah, it's 75. That's a good score. But you look at Navarro, he just has a little bit more upside, just a little bit. More goals in that game. Maybe we can get double decisive out of those 2. I like it. Benteke is not in a bad spot. Julian Fernandez, I like him. Yes, this is recency bias, that 91.1. He was on set pieces. He did a lot of things. 11 penalty entries. He had the goal, 3 attempted assists. He had just a great match. I'm not putting him in my top lineup, though, just because you never know with rotation. They might play Ojeda for some reason. It just doesn't make any sense. But that is a great matchup as well. So there's a lot of things going into it. I can't trust Bamba. And then it's not really even worth looking any further based on my gallery because there's nothing there. So I'm going Navarro. And then as far as my extra, I'm going to stick with Carlos Hill, I think, just based on what he's done. At this moment, you can't not play him. I know he's hitting decisives, and that's a lot of what it is. But if he scores 60, you can make it up elsewhere because I'm planning on captaining Mihailovic actually over him. That could be a mistake, but I think Mihailovic has a huge game. Not to say that Carlos Hill doesn't. It just feels like this is a Mihailovic type. Again, you got to get your captain right. Yes, Hill can hit 100, but with how good Gillespie and that defense has been, this could be a 0-0 draw, and we could be looking at Hill has 60. You captain that 60, Mihailovic gets 80. You need those points. So I'm going to go with upside. This is not a safe play whatsoever. A 92 on here, I'm happy with that, right? I think this legit has a chance to hit 475, but it's going to take a lot of luck with any of these. It's going to take a ton of luck, and I feel comfortable with this. If it doesn't hit, it is what it is, but this is kind of what I've been working for like the last 5 weeks, and this was like my plan. So it would be nice to hit it just as like hey, I did something right. Whenever I, could have been playing Kai Wagner, instead of running 5 in season a lot. But yeah, that's my number 1. I do have 2 D1s. My second one I kind of talked about. It's probably going to be Schulte or it's going to be Ivicic. It's just kind of going back and forth. New England doesn't give up a ton of shots. They do a pretty good job defensively. Schulte against Philly. Philly does put up shots. I think he's going to be called into action. They've been in some barn burners, and he's had some horrendous scores. That's why, again, I was thinking about Cornell. It's just I would feel so much better if Cornell was in my top lineup, Celentano was in my second, and those would be 2 really rock solid teams. But I don't have them, so I'm not going to spend whatever his price is, 200, 150, whatever it is, just for this. Although it would be nice to have that. New York Rebels have some great fixtures moving forward. But right now, I don't want to spend any more money. Just kind of where I'm at. Already spent on the Mihailovic, but I did have plenty of credits to knock that number in half. But yeah, so I think I'm going to go again, I'm thinking upside. Schulte hasn't shown it, but in the past, he's put up 50 plus all the time. With kind of, I mean, I watch Philadelphia. I've watched every match. They're going to test them. And Schulte's let in a lot of goals and made some mistakes, which kind of scares me. But Ivičić in this matchup, 18% chance compared to a 25% chance at a clean sheet. I'm just going to lean Schulte. I'm not going to feel good about it, but that's probably the route I'm going to go. And like I said, I wish I would have turned on in-season only. And like I said, I think Miles Robinson's probably the play for me. Just based on options. I kind of said why I didn't want to play Engel. And then if you kind of look at the other ones, your Hog High is a good option, right? But his better scores have been on the road more. Not that they said he's scored poorly. He's an option, though. As far as the New England guys, just can't really trust them. I just don't love New England's outlook here. I think I could play Engel. Maybe in like the third one, I play a really high upside. Maybe he pops off. But there's just a little bit too much risk that I feel for that. Miles Robinson, I feel like just has to be that second defender off the board for my lineups. And then you can kind of go a lot of different places here. Dallas Road Warriors. Yeah, weird, right? As far as midfield, so in my first lineup, I didn't have Evander, right? Evander was he gets really lazy at times and just kind of goes through the motions, and he hasn't really linked up with everybody. But with that being said, this matchup, sorry, it's a good matchup. He's had some duds, right? But he has that upside, and maybe somehow he takes a set piece and Robinson scores it. There's a very outside chance that happens, but it could. That is an outcome. That would be crazy. With Schulte's kind of built in a little bit of upside, I think we could be in a good point here. And then I'm going to run Dreyer with them against St. Louis and just hope that St. Louis implodes again and he gets a decisive, at least, maybe 2. I don't think he'll put up 100 like he did last week. And then the other one, I've been going back and forth on this. Emil Forsberg's been very, very just it's been a tough because, I've played him here with the 29. I've played him here. 60 is not going to kill you. 47 is not going to kill you. This feels like a decisive coming. It does. He's had some bailout PKs to kind of boost some of these scores, but I think we could see one of these 88s or 83s with him. And just based on this, Paslick's in a good position, right? He's in a good spot as well. It's just, I just feel like Forsberg might be a little bit, ton of possession. That's why, like, it was tough not to put him in my top lineup, right? I feel like I might regret not putting him in my top lineup just because that upside is there. As far as sets, Chucky Lozano takes most, right? But he could have some opportunities as well. It's just, man, that your decision making in this is going to be brutal whenever you look. And I am going to go Forsberg. And I'm hoping that Evander has one of these upside because he's on sets. He has so many opportunities. He does look lazy at times, but I'm going to captain him. So this is only a 79 in comparison to the first one, but I think this is still a really good lineup. They want Eric Tommy over him. Okay. I'm just curious. I don't know why I clicked that. But that's what I'm going with right now. So that's kind of my thinking on these lineups. Again, this might not be the best content in the world, but I like talking this through, and me talking this out loud kind of helps me, and you can kind of see what's rolling in my brain. And not to say I'm the best Sorare player in the world. I'm definitely not. There's a lot of people that are way better than me and way smarter than I am, but this is just kind of like my thinking and kind of how I got here. But I guess I'll do my last lineup too. This is just kind of, I am running 3, but with the expectation, not going to go well. Yeah, Schulte at goal. I'm expecting 30, and I'm just going to take it. After that 17 last week, it doesn't feel very good. Now, with the last spot, it's probably got to be Ivicic, just based on I can't play Lunt or, I'm pretty sure so. Yeah, I can't play Lunt or Berkey, in my opinion, just based on I need them here. But and then Polskamp, not going to play him. So this is kind of I have to play it. It kind of takes away the idea of playing Pasalic at one of those mid positions, which kind of stinks, but I think it's all right. A lot of issues. Last week I stopped using SD and made lives on, and you hit the streak. Yeah, maybe just changing up some things. Man, I've gone on some cold streaks too. You don't know why you're going on a cold streak. Maybe just kind of, a lot of times whenever I go through cold streaks, I just mail it in. Like, this thought process, I think, helps me more than anything, instead of me just like blindly just like clicking. Yep, that's good. That's good. That's good. And then just kind of getting, I don't know. I lost the spark for the game. I'll be completely transparent with that. Kind of just lost the spark. And hitting the streak kind of brought the spark back, because I had something to look forward to, where, like, I haven't really had anything to look forward to in the game. I was winning like $20 to $50 all the time. But I don't know. Maybe you've been on a cold streak since you haven't streamed the last couple of weeks. I've actually done well the last couple of weeks, so maybe I shouldn't stream anymore. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I just need to take a little breather and come back fresh. Oh, yeah. A ripper. 30-yard rocket incoming. Yeah. I mean, I hope so, right? It's just... the first time I built these, like, the third defender just felt gross all around. But I'm kind of more hoping that I can, like, somehow get 60 out of Ivicic. It's not going to happen, but maybe he gets a penalty save or something. It's probably not going to happen. And then try and get like 70, hopefully, from Asaze, and just kind of pray that I can make it up with the other positions. But this third one, I'm not expecting anything from it. This is like just having an extra entry into the lottery. Sure, you might hit it, but this is very much likely not going to happen. But I do have some guys in good spots. So Pereira da Costa is probably not going to get 100, right? But he's in a good spot against Sporting Kansas City. And I do like him here. And then as far as the forward, boy, I like Julian Fernandez. Maybe I like him more than I should. But yeah, just trust the process. Just trust the process. I like Julian Fernandez. I know, like, playing Denki, but this is just like too safe of a lineup with Denki. Benteke makes sense on the road against Toronto. He can do it, right? But he's pretty much been capped off at like 70. I think Julian Fernandez, based on how he took sets and based on what he can do, I think he could put up another really good score. So I'm going to rock with him. This is more of a shoot the moon type of thing for that position, but it is what it is. And then it's just, I could go anywhere here, and whoever I pick won't be the right decision. It's just, that was worst buy ever. But who'd have thought that, you don't get last year's scores? It's been rough. Been buying players that I go on their worst streaks. Yeah. Oh man, it's brutal. Yeah, no cursing players this week. Everyone's gonna do well in your lineup. Podium incoming. But just kind of briefly looking through the other ones. I'm not gonna build any other ones. But I do have options. It's just like Pereira's been really good. Like, he's hit some upside performances, right? He could definitely go in this lineup. Against Inter Miami, who concedes goals for the most part. He's an option, right? You have these guys that it's like, It's tough, but I don't think I'm going to go that route. Maybe we get a penalty, but his max game this year has been that 83. And it was against the Galaxy. They scored 3 goals. It's just tough to really. Vita's been good, right? He's been good. Denki could definitely play Denki, sure. I think I'm going to go Pereira. I think Miami's going to concede some goals. A little risk, a little reward. He has a nice floor. I don't know. This lineup doesn't matter, so I don't even know why I'm taking too much. Dang, 100 minutes on the treadmill? Let's go. That's awesome. Good for you, man. Stepping out, baby. Do you, Dunk, do you have a treadmill? Like, is this at your house or is it, like, are you at the gym right now? Because I've been, like, thinking, like, kind of want, like, either, like, a walking pad or something along the lines. I don't know if, like, a full-fledged treadmill because I like running outside, but, like, maybe, like, a walking pad. I don't know. Clement, what's happening? Let's go. 6, nice. Wrong cap, but hey, 6th place, man. On a midweek? That's awesome. Congrats, Red or Dead. Well done. Oh, at home. That's awesome. That's awesome. Because, like, I do bedtime and then I either, work on stuff like lineups and stuff like that, or, I like working on my laptop, but yeah, so you have 3 kids. I only have 1. So, and you have a sick wife, tough to get out much. Yeah, that's tough. With me only having 1 kid, it's hard to get out, right? I go out on runs and that's kind of like the extent. But like whenever they get down to sleep, I would like something to just like, walk. I actually go across the street and there's like a municipal building and I walk that parking lot. It's kind of like, I'm sure if someone like saw me on the cameras, they're like, what is this guy doing? But it's like tonight. Yeah, I have like 600 more steps that I got to get in. I might run over there real quick and walk around. Hey, $20 in a midweek's nice. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've gotten anything but a box in a midweek. So nice. That's a good return. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go balls to the wall and just real quick captain Julian Fernandez just because. But hey, I appreciate everyone stopping in. It felt good to be back. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. You guys make the stream with the chat and everything. Good to just talk to you guys. Again, I apologize for not being around. We're going to see Bulat. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. We're going to see where I'm at with lineups as far as a Monday stream. I'm leaning towards not having one, but we'll just kind of see where we're at. Just because we're actually going to be able to, late swap or whatever you want to call it, rolling locks. So I guess the lineup preview doesn't really matter. So maybe we'll do something different, like Wednesday night stream or something. I don't know. I'll kick some things around, maybe like a watch along or something like that. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't love the watch alongs types of things just because I like to focus on just like watching it. And I don't like missing anything. You know what I mean? But yeah. Yippee-ki-yay, what's happening? Just a little bit late. I'm just signing off here. Ooh, 500. United Stack plus Anthony, Red or Dead. Let's go. Scozer, what's happening? It's next midweek. We got midweek MLS next week, and it should be competition open since everyone's playing. Not everyone's playing. Are there 4 teams not playing? I think something like that. Dang, 2nd place. Nice. You are smashing it, man. Congrats. Keep it up, man. If you're on this roll this time next weekend, keep going. Need Pope hot takes. next week. Oh, I don't have any Pope jokes that aren't very, very bad that I'll probably get canceled for. So I'm not sure if I can include any Pope things, Pope talk. Dallas is one of them. Yeah, I was going to say. I couldn't remember which four. But yeah. Yeah, we'll get you guys should do a Sir After Dark, and you should name Laird Stalker as the Pope to be and see if that gets him off his case, maybe. No Vancouver either. Okay. All right. No Whitecaps, no Dallas, and I haven't looked. I haven't looked to see who else. Just living one day at a time. Tomorrow's Friday. All right. On that note, I appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully, you guys have all your streaks keep rolling so that you can hit it on the midweek to get into the competition. And I will maybe see you Monday. If not Monday, definitely Thursday will be our normal one this time. But I'll let you know on Twitter either way. So good luck, everybody, and we'll see you next time.